it's very weird to say, but I am an apostate, technically, which is such a weird thing because growing up, I knew that was the worst thing you could ever be. And I don't feel like the worst thing in the world. But I guess I feel bad about not feeling worse sometimes. And it's just a weird space to be in. I notice some people have been following our Instagram or finding this, and I hope the videos that are out are good. Or at least you watched them and you got something from them. But I've been kind of wondering if I want to even keep doing this, if I want to get rid of it all. Because, I know there's a lot of discourse about what is real activism in this and what isn't. And I don't really subscribe to many labels. Just nothing ever feels like it's the right word. But I wouldn't really say like I'm changing the world. And most of my motivations with this, I feel like it helps me more. I would like it to help other people, but it mostly comes down to I just spent so much of my life feeling like I'm the only person who feels this way, and everybody else around me gets it, and they're gonna go to paradise, and there's just something sort of wrong with me. Like, I really early on just sort of thought, well, every time at the Theocratic Ministry School or anything, they always make sure we don't feel too bad when we knock on doors and people aren't receptive. It's not that bad, because Jehovah makes it grow. And once I started feeling like I don't really feel like anyone is listening to my prayers, I don't really feel whatever this feeling is that everyone around me seems to have, I'm not familiar. I don't feel that. And so then at that point, it's like, okay, well, I guess for whatever reason, I'm not one of the people that God chose. He didn't want it to grow, whatever. It's just sort of how I felt. And then at that point, I was talking to Bob about this before, and I just feel like it was like the family business, and I was just like, okay, if I want to be in my family's life, and what else am I going to possibly want as a child, then yeah, you're going to grow up to be a witness, just like some people grow up to join their parents' electrician place, whatever the family business is. And that's about how I felt about it. So now that I'm out, I don't feel the weight that my believing family has, where they really think that Armageddon is coming. They feel that it's close. And I've never felt that. Especially once like the marketing changed, maybe there's a better word for it, but once the light sort of moved away from cool animal pets to just the new era where it's like, I don't know. I don't really know what is happening now. But I was more I wanted, to have like a giraffe or something and be tall. And that's about it. But I didn't feel like I needed to live forever. Especially if it is just like going to sleep. So I'm thankful that I'm not really like scared of hell or being tortured. But I'm also like, I wish I could be in some people's lives now while they're here, and I'll miss them when they're gone. But I don't feel like this is like what we have to both believe. I think it's fine as a lifestyle. At the same time, though, then I think about there's things that I'm just like ethically just not okay with. And this is something else I was talking with some friends about. I feel like my neurodivergence really had an impact on me grappling with religion, because I think that there is some way that some people are just able to compartmentalize or just like go along with the majority just for lifestyle purposes. Like, when you're a witness, you just go with the dogma that we believe Jehovah is God, and we'll go out in service and we won't celebrate holidays, and we're all just agreeing to do that, and we all agree to say it's because we believe truly in God. And I just, for years, really struggled to change this and warp it, but ultimately it's like I'm a closeted agnostic. I just can't bring myself to feel a presence, and I'm not opposed. Like, if I had like a real revelation experience where then that's new. That's a new experience that from now has been very void in my life. So that's kind of where I'm at there. And I think it's just interesting when I reached out to some people to talk about it, and I sometimes go back and I'm like, maybe if I had been more tactful about it. At the same time, I was crashing out. Like, and I don't think it was really perceived as crashing out. I don't think I emote normally, so I don't think it was recognized how much distress I was in under it, because I just go through things in a matter-of-fact way. But I was really crashing out about all this, because it was like, I didn't really feel any vibes, but I also just assumed I was wrong. I just was incorrect. And everyone else is right. But yeah, so once I heard about like the Australian Royal Commission, I just really thought about the ramifications of that. Really was like my life flashed before my eyes. I thought about every time, because for me, New Light was like the thing I loved, and every time it was like the one thing I could confidently answer, because everything else felt like I don't really want to talk about my faith because that feels like dishonest, and I assume that I don't feel that God is here, but presumably he is still watching me regardless of my acceptance of him. So to that end, I thought about every time I had answered in the meetings and said, like, I love that we have new light and we listen and update our beliefs as necessary. And, compared to other religions that clearly things need to change because they're molesting kids. I don't remember how I worded it, but I basically was always in that mindset that, like, only the Catholic Church had a problem with child abuse, or they all probably did, but never the witnesses, was really what I thought. And I think it's fair to say that anything with a hierarchy will lend itself to some sort of power dynamic abuse. So that's something that I just sort of had to, like, accept in the world. But then I think we have new light. So when I see and I remembered that meeting where we watched this video, but I didn't have the same context. But it's this video we watched from Bethel to all the kingdom halls, where he's talking about how there will never change the 2-witness rule. And I'm like, that's weird. And also with the Australian Royal Commission, I was still thinking, like, it's imperfect people. That's not, God can't account for a few bad actors. But now I'm thinking, if the rule is so perfectly designed to take advantage of children, but if now with the Australian Royal Commission, if we just have this very clear evidence of rape and the way that children can be abused because they don't count, their testimony is irrelevant in the 2-witness rule, then that seems like new light. Like, that just a minimum. And I would imagine that, like, candidly answering and updating the system would fall under, like, paying Caesar's things to Caesar's if we're going by the principle that we were taught. Like, that's why we follow the laws. So that was just really hard because I was like, I don't understand why there would be anything to ever hide. So, like, when Jeffrey Jackson did his interview where he, like, was just not being honest to my understanding of the religion I was raised in, I was very confused. Then it comes back to, am I ever gonna do this again? And clearly, if you hear this, then I did it, and I am. So I guess ultimately on where I stand with being an apostate and all, I think is that I'm just going to keep doing this. I have thought about, like, if my family confronts me about this. They tried to once and I just didn't really engage at all because I was like, I don't really know what to say. And I had my different reasons. I think it was more like mostly just like chickening out. Like, I just really wasn't prepared to have that conversation. I'm still not really prepared to have that conversation just because it's like, it feels futile. Like, it feels like no matter what I'd say, if it wasn't just, well, stop, renounce what you've done, I don't really see anything else happening. So I guess it's more like I feel like I've already had the conversation. And it's really not up to me to prove myself wrong. Yeah, I guess that is kind of it. Like, I guess ultimately, when it circles back to my feelings on this, it's like, yeah, I felt like I was alone for so long. It'd be nice to know other people out there feel like me, and if someone feels like they're alone, then they can just feel like me. And even if that never happens, and I really am the only person who ever felt whatever's on this channel, then that's still my truth, and I guess it's okay to walk in it. Yeah, I think so. Basically, I'm just thinking about just the labels we give ourselves and stuff. I don't know. I guess I want to do more here, but I don't really know. Well, I guess I'm just gonna take my life one step at a time and just kind of walk this way, and hopefully that'll be enough, really. I think all we can ever do is our best and reach out to the people we have. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for chatting. This has been Lex of Bad Association, and hopefully we can do this again sometime.